I got 7 o'clock.
You bet.
I take it I'm in the right spot.
You bet.
We'll call meeting to order. Roll call. Yep.
There, here. Laney?
Here.
Us?
Here.
And Stan here.
Here.
And Tony is ill.
Public forum. No public forum. Just for the record, we'd like to welcome the Mayor of Wall Lake, Steve Dooley. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, consent agenda. Any questions? If not, we need a motion to approve.
I was so moved.
I'll second.
That's good. Roll call.
Laney?
Yes.
Say it. Yes. Stanfield? Yes. Us? Yes.
Okay, Tom Swanson is up.
There he is.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Swanson. I live here in Lakeview. I've been here since 1998. Some of the faces I recognize, Jerry Huss. Hi. I just want to plead my case about, I don't know if you have any of the flyers or schematics.
A little bit of background and then the pictures of the cars.
Background of myself.
No, I say the council would just have a little bit of background about what you're asking for, and then they got the picture.
Okay, so to cut to the chase is what I want to do is go down by the lake and sell hot dogs out of this vending cart. Yeah, some people, I don't even think they know what vending carts are around here. It's pretty popular in big cities. But my problem or concern right now is the $25 a day for the permit fee. I would like to plead to the council to maybe lower the fee or work out some kind of solution so that I can go down there and do this. I would, it's $25 a day. Even if I worked 5 days a week, that would, you know, my first $50 is gone. And that's selling 25. I'm using $1 for a hot dog, $2 for a sale for the easement of math, okay? But that's, my first $50 would be gone. So now I gotta make, and I don't know how many hot dogs, I have no idea what's gonna be sold down there. I might sell 100, I might not sell anything. And then the days that are rained out and stuff, well, obviously I wouldn't get the permit. But so I was hoping that maybe you could adopt Sac City's way of doing things, which they charge $25 per day or $50 per day. And something like that. I have it in here. But they go by a 6-month basis for $200. And if you're there all year, it's $300. And I was kind of hoping that, because, okay, can somebody explain to me transient merchant? To me it means somebody that comes in, stays for a day or two, maybe goes out, comes back in. It's intermittent. Now I'm going to be down there every day. I'm a resident. I mean, it's a mobile vending cart.
That's why they're called the peddlers and transient merchants permit. We have the same type of permit, but
yeah.
The peddler would be you out peddling the goods, selling things as you go.
Yeah.
And then the transient merchant is the tool sale that comes to the Legion once a year or something like that. They get a permit when they come do that.
Yeah, yeah. And I can understand that, having to pay the $25. But being here for 6 months, hopefully from May till October, that would be, if I work 7 days a week, which I probably have to, that's $775 a month times 6. It's a lot of hot dogs.
Well, I think that was started so we kept out of counties out. I think we're all aware we want to keep business local. And
yeah.
I think most of us are all excited about this. We're worried about making sure that you don't interfere with the campground.
No, not at all.
I think some of the guys have talked about, if you didn't go into the campground.
I would never go into the campgrounds. I won't step on anybody's toes. I know there's other businesses around here that sell food. I'm selling stuff that's, I used to have a restaurant in this town with my wife and my sister-in-law. It was a pizza place. It's where the newspaper is now. And unfortunately, it went under due to a family health situation. But Jerry knows. He used to come in there just about every day. And so did Gary Wick. A lot of people. We had a lot of customers, good customers. And I would follow the rules to a T. I mean, I'm like that. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've been here 13 years, going on 13 years. I'm trying to plead my case to make it.
What would you do on Carnival weekend?
On Carnival weekend, Carnival weekend is designated for the charities, pretty much. So I wouldn't go down there at all.
Okay. I was just thinking, because they pay a fee to be at the carnival.
Yeah.
Now,
I mean, if I was allowed to go down there,
I would just think as long as you paid that same fee, went through the carnival committee,
You might
then
have
I
to sit
think it would
down.
be fine. See,
I got diabetic feet, and
I think that would be fine if we paid that fee.
one of the main reasons, one of the main reasons for me doing this is, for the last thing, I don't want to sound, mushy or whatever and pull at your heartstrings, but it's not like that at all. I've been disabled for about 10 years due to childhood diabetes. And fortunately, I got a double transplant in November of 2008. And I'm not diabetic anymore, but I still have some of the irreversible damage, like nerve endings, which, pushing a hot dog cart on the end of feet a lot. I mean, I can handle that, it's no problem. It's just that I can't do what I used to do as a carpenter, electrician. And so I'm on this program. It's called Medically Employed Disabilities, something or other. Where they want you to go to work. So who's going to hire a 55-year-old half-blind? I can't keep up with the young bucks anymore. And so I want to create this and hopefully get off, Medicare and stuff like that, hopefully. At least offset some of the expensive drugs that the state pretty much pays for.
I think when I've talked to the councils, they're all for doing this and at a smaller fee, $200 every 6 months or whatever.
So wait a minute, I've been talking for nothing?
No, we've all read this.
I heard just,
We're
no,
not
I'm
opposed to any
sorry.
of this.
Huh?
We just want to make sure that we don't interrupt the campgrounds.
No.
You probably could go to.
You know what, I didn't even think I was allowed to campgrounds. I thought, but honestly God, I thought that was part of the DNR thing. And I know some of it is like Arrowhead. All I want to do, and I'm not saying I'm going to be going down there for 10 hours a day. I'm just thinking maybe, mid-afternoon till whenever it starts getting dark and sit down by the pier or up by the highway where the fishermen go, park their vehicles. If that's a problem, I don't know.
That is something that we would need to address. Is another section of our peddler's permit ordinance says that the holder can sell between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. So.
Oh, really? That's it?
Yeah. But, yeah, that's what it says right now. So if this is something where the council is considering changes, then we may need to
now, is
consider
that restricted to the merchant, transient merchant?
a permit. I think it says the permit holder, which would be
The permit holder, okay.
any.
What's, does Sac City have hours limits on theirs, or Sac Cities, do they have any hours
I
limits?
don't know.
Well, the way they word it, you want to read it?
It looks like if after 6 o'clock, we're going to sell most of the hot dogs, but everybody comes to a fish.
That's what I'm talking about. I mean, I was kind of hoping
On page
to...
9, where it says license exemptions, so paragraph 3. Does he not fall into that? And if not, why not?
Will offer for sale their own products. I guess that's,
What's that mean?
couldn't tell you for sure.
See, and that's what Whitey and I talked about this a little earlier. Does that mean a guy who grows his own vegetables? That's probably what it means, but
Yeah.
that's not what it said.
Well, I'm not making the product, is, basically...
No, what we're saying is, I think maybe you're exempt. Yeah, because you now own them hot dogs, you now own them buns, they're your product. You're not selling them for J.C. Penney or somebody like that. He is a local resident. I think he's exempt.
So that means, I guess what I got
That means we got no business in interfering, he can do whatever he wants.
All we can do is say, well, we just hope you don't go to the campground, we can't enforce that.
Well, I think we could probably
But we-
say that people can't come into camp, we can make a policy that can't.
We have an existing campground policy.
And I would appreciate it if you don't park out front of Kathy's Corner.
Oh, no, yeah, you know,
That would be a bad idea.
Kathy's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, and I don't think, it's just the obvious stuff, but
Yeah,
that's the way I read it. I kind of hoping Aaron would be here to tell us. Because I'm probably sure when they wrote this, they were talking about farmers market kind of people, or some guy selling sweet corn on the street.
But it does say their own product.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I said, he buys the product.
It's
So
yours.
that's where I'm at.
I like that. Looks like we just, government ought to keep our nose out.
you know, I was, you know, when I was kind of preparing this, excuse my language, half-ass speech over the weekend, I thought that maybe one day a month or something I could provide hot dogs for a worthy cause, maybe the fire department, maybe the ambulance, or something, just a little fundraiser. I hope that doesn't sound like a bribe. It kind of is, but it
Take care of
isn't.
yourself.
Yeah,
I
just
think
make
that-
enough money to keep yourself going.
Yeah. we can
Well,
find
you know,
out.
I don't know. I want to give back to the community. Like I said, I've been on this,
Would
the last
this,
10 years has been rough for me, and I need to get back to work,
would this be something that you could do up at the farmer's market on Saturday?
definitely. I can do it anywhere.
Yeah. I think
It's
that'd be a good
mobile.
spot for 'em.
I mean, we could use that attraction.
Yeah, when the concert, the Snow Tears come down, you could be there, I think that would be fantastic. I also think like when they're doing the bike rodeo and stuff, he could show up, I think that'd be an excellent opportunity for him to make a little money.
A lot of opportunities.
Does anybody interpret that number 3 any different than what Kim just did? I think we ought to just leave our nose out of it and sell hot dogs where you want, I think.
Should we just have a motion, council motion that we determine Tom to be a local vendor and exempt from the permit requirements?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Thank you.
Yes.
Us?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes,
sir.
Yep.
Sell away. How
You're
would you
exempt
speak?
from the
You
permit.
got a name for your,
Well,
Hot dogs are up.
you know, not really,
Bandwagon.
not really, you know, but I filled out a tax, what do you call them things?
Application.
For the tax number
oh,
for my food, and I just called it Tommy's Hot Dogs,
okay.
so.
Just remember, we're down here every other Monday night, so be here before the meeting.
Hey, you know what? Just come down to the pier once in a while. I know you all.
I would encourage you to join the community club, because that'd be another thing, they have a lot of functions that they would want hot dogs. That'd be a great-
I would definitely join anything I can get into.
All right,
All right, thanks, sir.
Great.
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Is your name Dan?
Yeah.
You live right across the street at a corner?
Yeah.
Is your wife,
Awesome.
was your wife work at Casey's?
No,
No, that-
I ain't married yet.
he's working on it.
That's your application to the community.
Saving up the money.
You bet.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, ordinance 432, garbage rates.
Yeah, this is that ordinance to increase the garbage bag sales by 50 cents per bag. My question to you is when would you like us to go into effect? And you-
Go around and find everyone in the back.
Good luck with that.
It really is kind of an issue. I mean, if people are already starting to stockpile of it.
Yeah.
Especially,
We've went through more of them over at the store than the past couple weeks.
Is everybody welcome to these meetings every Monday?
Oh, yeah, public meetings.
Every other Monday.
Every other Monday?
Even other mayors and councilmen from other towns.
If you have something to say, you're welcome to give us your opinion before the meeting starts. We're gonna have to have a roll call.
When's the sheriff started March 1st, is that when we kind of everything's?
Yeah, it's gonna
Good start.
happen as, on the next billing, which will be March 1st billing.
Which reading is
That's
this?
good.
This will be the first reading,
First reading.
unless you wanted to pass them all, in which case it would go into effect then on, actually be, March 2nd is the official date of publication.
Can I excuse you for, or myself for one more? So what do I do now?
So hot.
Sell hot dogs.
Yourself. You don't even have,
Nothing for the city.
No,
The state has to inspect it, doesn't
I'm not gonna get shut down by the cops, you know.
No, you just deal with Sherry Wilson on the environmental part, and
Yeah.
get in trouble with the cops, just sell them hot dogs.
For a donut.
Or donuts, yeah, keep donuts.
it?
Why did they, why? I don't know, I never see him at the donut shop. Maybe I'm not there at the right time. Well, thanks a lot, gentlemen, appreciate it.
We have a motion on 432.
well, just that, again, if you wanted it to go into effect as of the 2nd of March, we just pass all the readings.
That's
Have a
what
good night.
I'll make a motion.
First, second, and third reading.
We're gonna run through 3 separate.
Three and seven.
Oh, okay.
I know, you hate to do that to you, but
I thought we could suspend the second, and third reading.
you can, but it won't take very long.
do them
Takes
all.
doesn't take kind of motion.
All right,
I'll second Ben's first motion.
okay, roll call.
Schrader,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Huss.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Okay, now the next motion is to waive the statutory requirement to consider the ordinance in the
I'll
second
still
reading.
make it.
Roll call, or second, I guess.
Come on.
I'll second it.
There we go.
There you go, roll call.
Schrader,
Yes.
Huss,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Since he's reading.
One more to finally approve ordinance number 432.
So moved, I guess.
I'll second that one.
All right, roll call.
Thank you.
Yes.
Lane.
Yes.
Schrader.
Yes.
And Huss.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right,
March-
Effective March 2nd.
March 2nd.
March 2nd.
And make sure you put in there a motion by Schrader. Okay.
Okay, resolution 1103, approving the amendment for police services contract between the city of Lakeview and the city of Wall Lake.
You bet. So what's being considered is just that formal amendment, the amendments on page 1213. The only thing changing would be the payment and then the term of the agreement for a 3-year term, and then the payments are stipulated in there too.
Scott, in that paragraph B, page 12, is that over 20 hours happen very often?
It happens from time to time, I think, huh, Chief?
Do we actually bill for it?
No.
We don't? Okay.
Pretty
that's
much
fine.
averages out, and it's a little slower in the winter and heavier in the summer, so we've never.
Okay, I was just curious, I mean, I see it's $40 an hour, I was curious if we actually do that, or, okay.
We bill that at the discretion of the police, correct?
Okay,
Farm Fest is about the only time that we did after the over.
okay.
Well, I think this is like Scott said at the last meeting, that this is something that's kind of a good deal, that the two towns can work together and make some money.
Well, we're doing a good deal, it's agreeable.
So I will make a motion to approve resolution 1103.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Schrader.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes.
Huss.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you get that, Steve, when I emailed it to you?
Yep, got it. I'm gonna have, city attorney look it over to make sure it's all kosher, and I'll probably get to John Henry and bring it back to you, Scott.
Yep. That'd be great.
Okay.
Okay, Parks Workers bonus pay policy.
We just implemented that last fall, and now that we don't have any long-term parks employees, other than Ruth, and Ruth really thought we ought to probably get rid of this. I talked with Ted about the notion of getting rid of this idea of this extra hours worth of, or weeks worth of pay. They could request that at the end of the year. Anyway, everybody's just in agreement that we ought to rescind that policy.
We're cutting everything else back, looks like a good deal.
I have no problem cutting it back.
No, I agree.
I'm just kind of thinking it almost looks like we bent over to kiss somebody's rear end that we didn't need to kiss.
Looks to me like that's in capital letters.
Yeah,
And he's not coming back.
but that's fine.
Was that a motion to rescind that then?
I guess I was. I'm probably the one who made the motion to put it in.
I'll second it.
All right, roll call?
So it rescinds the policy put into place on September 20th of 2010 regarding the opportunity for parks workers to be paid 1 week's extra pay.
10-4.
And Laney,
Yes.
Huss,
Yes.
thank you. Schrader.
Yes.
Let's authorize the payments, we left that out of the consent agenda because I thought everybody wanted a chance to
Well,
vote.
yeah.
We did it anyway.
And hire the park workers?
Oh, shit, I went right by that.
You said, where'd you go?
I know, I marked it off before I got to it.
You saying, what are you talking about?
You know, I guess we gotta hire them guys.
This would be hiring the 2 parks workers who now work 7.5 months. First April through the middle of November. So you can see the applicants are on the bottom of page 2. The mayor and Ruth and I had interviewed 4 folks. Anyway, long story short is that we would recommend that Kevin Hoskelhorn be hired and that we would rehire Ted Richardson again to be those parks workers, the wage being $11 an hour. Kevin, certainly is very well qualified as far as he's a farmer, but so of course he understands all the farming side and can fix anything that we need to, but he's also had contract on a couple cemeteries over in Auburn area for a few years, so he knows all the grounds maintenance side of things too. Anyway, that's the recommendation.
Probably gonna lose him at all when farming goes to planting?
He will. He needs some time off come springtime. He said about a week.
But it won't probably be continuous, but depend on the rain, but he thought he would work it in.
What Dan's idea about these special projects that are we gonna designate what we want, priorities of jobs that we want to see completed? Do we have a kind of a game? I know this doesn't have nothing to do with this, but I'd like to, I guess we're gonna bring them on, whoever we bring on, that we have a plan of trying to get these, we've got a list of special projects that we feel that needs to be prioritized, so is that something that, as a council, we can direct?
Oh, absolutely, sure. You certainly want to prioritize what you want to have done.
I understand we got, the day-to-day operations, but if we're bringing these
We'll have a chance of narrowing down what we want done to get it.
we'll start with a list and make it a honey-do list, and this is what we gotta do. So I think that's what I'm all for this, but I wanna have a plan in place, so when we sit down and go through orientation and say, this is kind of where we wanna head, what path we wanna go.
Certainly. The one thing about Kevin too is, so we got a lot of concrete work that needs to be done. Kevin worked with Lon last year pouring a bunch of concrete, so he's well qualified in that area too.
Scott, what was Ted hired at last year?
$11.
Okay. I'm just kind of curious, starting both at the same salary when one of them's been here already.
That's because we voted to freeze the
Yeah,
wages.
the wage.
Yeah, but I was wondering, I didn't know if he was,
And Ted knows that's gonna happen.
I was wondering, I didn't know if he was at 11 or he was at 10.5 last year, I was just curious. Okay.
Did you talk to that Mike guy about getting a folder yet?
Yeah, that's the other thing. We had a couple of real good applicants that we went to Mike Mitchell. Really solid applicants. We will talk to them about some other jobs too.
That's what you and the mayor and Ruth and you decided, that's good.
I was surprised Terry resupplied.
So what we need to do, we
We just have a motion to hire Ted and Kevin.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll do that.
roll call?
Thank you.
Yes.
Lane?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Huss?
Yes.
Now we'll do the CDI.
Yeah, the CDI was a budgeted expense for this current year. I just wanted to have council approval before we would go ahead and pay that. It's $3,000 to the CDI this year. See, I listed some of the usage on the top of page 3 as far as what they're used for. Some of this attendance at regional tourism meetings and some training sessions that some of that's for me, some of that's for our volunteers, so we do have some training for our volunteers throughout the year too. Big one is participation in that Western Iowa Co-op ad insert. Okay, so it costs the community $1,100, but it's 550,000 pieces of advertising to go out. Okay, some third part is that community awards and the community meeting. We spent a few $100s on the event signs and banners. An additional few $100s on the community event advertising, and then they do help out with some of the other smaller events like the Log Cabin Pioneer Day.
Who's their treasurer? You.
Yep.
So you've got an actual expense account where all this money is.
Yes. Do that.
It was like the other stuff that was in the budget, but I thought this was big enough that we wanted to reaffirm that. I think it's important.
It's to promote Lakeview in a way.
Yeah, because if we don't do it, nobody will.
We made that commitment as a council in the past.
So we're doing these both together?
Yeah.
Oh, we sure can. The other one is, I think it's proper to pay half of what we can for that marketing position now. So get that paid to the community club.
Do we have a motion on that?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
This is for both?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Russ?
Yes.
Laney?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Oh, now we're getting to the bikes at Blackhawk.
There we go.
Bikes at Blackhawk.
Yeah. Am I supposed to just start talking?
Yep.
Yeah,
go ahead.
absolutely.
Okay. Here's what we'd like. I would like for the city to give some kind of discount at the campground for people who participate. The only way I can figure out to know if they participate is most of them are going to be members of the ABADE organization, so they would have a membership card. So for that Friday night and Saturday night, maybe we could give, and I don't know a number, somebody tell me a number, we give some kind of discount if they show that card. The only way they're going to know that discount's there is if I told them or somebody told them through the advertising. So I don't see a bunch of people who aren't participating showing up and using it.
Mm-hmm. They're just going to use the campsite. Right?
Yeah, I'm thinking 10%. Does that sound unreasonable?
Yep.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get people to show up, and any incentive we can give them to show up is great.
Didn't we talk about $2?
Yep, we talked a couple bucks.
And that's,
And just say it'd be $2 off of, what we'd ask is it would be something like this. $2 off those camping in the open areas for your seats, so you don't get
what's it normally, Scott?
$16. So it wouldn't be staying in space, it's in one of those open areas.
And that's where they stay.
Yep,
I
because
see a
they're
bunch of guys
tent
riding on
campers
bikes with
The
tents.
tents,
Yeah.
yeah. This isn't for electricity and sewer,
No.
it's just a spot to park the tent.
That's what I think we're
To use the
we're
shower.
shooting towards, yeah.
She thought $2 would be,
And
they
that's
showed me a
I
big
just,
card for a discount.
they're just gonna be amazed if I get anything out of it.
that's partly-
That isn't what I'm saying.
That's partly true, because Ruth said,
I don't give discounts to nobody.
we told you that too, didn't you?
Yeah.
We had to pin her
She
down that
said,
day.
well, we don't want to make a habit of this, but she
Well, we do want to make that.
Yeah, we
I
should.
think if we can get people to town, that's a good thing. Okay, then, I don't know if you want to talk about the next one, is the street closure.
Yep.
I would like to close off Main Street that morning, starting at probably 9 o'clock, and back open by 1 o'clock. I'm gonna ask for the whole Main Street, because I really don't know how much of it we're gonna use.
third to the fifth.
Yeah. I don't anticipate using it all.
That's Saturday.
Yes. Saturday morning.
So 9 to 1 is all that you're talking about?
Yeah, because at 1 o'clock the poker run starts and they'll all leave town. They'll be back that evening, but they'll all ride out of town, and so we don't need to close. And that's just the two things I need here. If you need any more information about it, the band has already been hired. We've already paid them a down payment and everything stuff. And they play old-time rock and roll is pretty much what you're gonna hear, maybe some country. I know they do a couple of Johnny Cash songs, so I'm gonna have everybody out. And then, ABATE is gonna come and they're gonna help run the bike rodeo, which will be on Main Street. Blackhawk Marine is gonna help sponsor it. I've got sponsors from other towns that are gonna come and sponsor some of the events. So,
What other events are you planning in the rodeo?
I can't tell you them all because we really haven't settled on them all. I can tell you that one of them will be the slow bike race, which is see who can go the slowest.
The old Mike.
Put your feet down, you lose. That's how it works. Okay? One of them is the keg push. They push a keg, an empty keg, with the front tire of their bike. So they're not gonna, none of these will be very fast. Okay? One of them is like a musical chairs kind of thing. They're driving around, and when they tell them to stop, the girl jumps off the back of their bike and they have to go dig a potato out of this big pile of... It's funny. It is hilarious, because there's one less potato than there is people. So somebody don't get a potato, and that person's out, and that's how that one works. And one of the big event will be sponsored by Blackhawk Marine, and it'll be a four-wheeler. And let's say you want to be in on it, because you can be. You'll get on that four-wheeler, we'll put a blindfold on you, and your wife will tell you where to turn, and you'll have to go through an obstacle. And it always turns out really nice.
Aaron, there's an opening for some divorces.
That's right. We just started standing right there on standby.
I'm
But
no
those are the
longer
kinds of
doing
things.
divorce work, so.
Those are the kinds of things, and we're just hoping to get a bunch of people from town to sit up there and watch it. Everything's gonna be free.
We just need a motion from the council to close that Main Street.
Close the street and do the parks,
Yeah,
campground.
It's gonna be $2 savings for those camping in those open areas, B and C, with the abate card.
Yep.
Okay.
So what, we're gonna do both motions at once, or we're gonna do them separate?
All at once would be fine.
It'd be better.
I'll make that one.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Thank you.
Yes.
Us,
Yes.
Laney,
Abstain?
clear.
Yes.
Lake protection.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lake protection.
Lake protection.
Checks in the mail, Ken.
Before we get into our stuff, I'd like to point this out to you. It's this spreadsheet that was there on the table as you came in. This really is a fairly good update about where things are in terms of that the large grant application that our watershed group is working on, trying to get things together for this big grant application goes in 1st of April. And several pages here, but because they're broken down in years, so when you look at the cover page, that is all years out of the project, okay? Looking at the second page is phase 1, which is years 1 through 5, and this is the actual amount of grant funding that they would be seeking would be on that page. Where it says phase 2 is years 5 through 10, and that could potentially be another subsequent grant application later on. And then phase 3 is stuff past 10 years, so that they have a managed life of at least 30 years on the watershed work. So this is still very much in draft form. This is just what they gave us after our last organizational meeting for our Lake Protective Association. But it does give you a little idea about what they would propose to do, whether it's terraces, waterways, some hard armor on the stream bank stabilization, and quite a little bit of the soft armor, which is vegetation. See some of the rock ripples in there. Can't hear now. No. Anyway, everything on this sheet that you're looking at is watershed. We were asked to provide some ideas for urban issues then too. And that's where we come up with the issues that are in the packet. They start on page 15. You get that thing to click off there, Chief?
I learned last time, didn't I?
Yep. Last time we struggled.
So these were some ideas that we came up with this, for addressing some of the issues pertaining to the city. And when you think of this, kind of think of this in terms of work to be done within the corporate limits. So where it's talked about the Lake Protection Association, we want to get that Lake Protective Association really up and running. The analyst would request some staff funding for that. Okay, and this just says $1,000 a month for 2 years, and this is in addition to a full-time watershed coordinator that would come as part of the big grant. So this is having somebody on board, whether it's Emily or whomever, to steer this Lake Protective Association, doing a lot of the education work out of the association. Okay, so that's the first thing. Next thing talks about that 100% phosphorus-free is basically a goal that we would have any of the fertilizers that are applied in town be phosphorus-free. And to get there, this would suggest a $5 voucher for any resident who's willing to use that phosphorus-free stuff and buy it at a local retailer. So this says 2 vouchers per year, and we figured 500 residents. And then you see some of the education that goes along with it as far as advertisements and brochure mailing. Next one talks about the storm, sewer, and drain tile mapping. We do not have good maps of the city storm sewer system. And what this would do is through research or through bringing in an engineering firm, they would be able to determine location of all of the drain tiles that drain into the lake. Okay? And more than likely, this is feed a locator and feed a camera backwards up to the pipe and they'll locate it that way. Now, and while they're doing it, they're also checking on the condition of the drain tile, and then they're also looking for cross connections or anything like that. Would tell you that some of the water tests came back, of course they came back high in phosphorus, some of them came back high in E. coli, which is a concern. Out of the storm sewer, you wouldn't have had a whole lot of E. coli concerns out of the storm sewer. But so whether that is feces in the yard getting washed in, or whatever that might be, the other thing would be cross connections somewhere with sanitary. So things to explore. This would say that we'd seek $10,000 for consulting, with our match being 25% for staff time. That City Hall rain garden project was part of the original streetscape project. And we did not do that then, and this would say, let's go ahead and do this now, more as a public education type effort as far as what a rain garden can do. And again, we're requesting $5,000. That's what the original engineer's estimate was for it, with the local match being 20% soft. Intake marking. Basically, if you've seen these in a lot of communities, you might see them anymore. Maybe a brass plaque or something like that that says, "Don't dump here; it drains to the lake," or anything like that. So that's again something where we'd request. This says $1,000 for those little brass markers, and the city staff would put them on. How about an awareness campaign, just keep the gutters clean? And this just has to do with keeping debris and leaves from flowing to the lake. And this would say we would use newspaper articles and the city newsletter and website, that type of stuff, where there is very little out-of-pocket cost. So this actually, it says that there's no cost to it, and that the in-kind would be city staff for the labor. Just really, I think, good on the grant end of things to show that not everything needs to cost a lot of money, and you can accomplish things really here on our own, just using the city staff. Shoreline armoring, and this would basically be down at the beach, and this says 100 feet either side of the beach, because if you would notice the beach itself keeps working its way further to the north. And it does wash out regularly, and over the past dozen years, we've filled sand back in there a couple different times. And this doesn't address the beach so much, but it does address the areas abutting up to it, that we would do some more riprap along the shoreline. The next one is kind of the big one as far as costs, and that's doing something with storm sewer outlets. And I really don't have real good knowledge about this, but there's a lot of good examples out there of people who have had success essentially treating stormwater. And it would be a little bioreactor or some sort of filter screen or something like this at the end of the pipe as it's going into going into the lake, it's somehow treated. Okay, but really, a lot of more information needs to come out on that. But and this engineer estimate was just talking with the NRCS guys and Jim Fredericks. He said, "Oh, I think Clear Lake did a couple, and they ran about $75,000 each."
Wow.
So that would be that would be this large grant request. But
Yes.
this also said, you know, at some point it certainly is appropriate for us to have some local match in it. So this would say we ought to have some local match, and there's $30,000 penciled in there. Some other smaller projects, encouraging residential rain gardens. This is again more of a pilot thing that would say let's try to encourage one residential rain garden per year, and there'd be a 50% cost share. And the next one talks about residential rain barrels, which is just basically catch the water as it's coming out of your downspouts and reutilize it on your property somewhere, watering your garden or your grass or whatever it might be. And this would have a $50 rebate for anybody installing a residential rain barrel. That environmental protection zone, this would implement a suggestion from our comp plan. Our comp plan had a suggestion that anywhere within a quarter mile of any body of water should be designated as an environmental protection zone. And so it's conceivable you're in a residential zone, but you got this kind of an overlay district that affects multiple districts, and that just says it's an environmental protection zone, and here are certain things that are encouraged, and here are certain things that are regulated or illegal to do within this zone. So
who monitors that then? Would the city monitor something like that?
yeah, it'd be a city ordinance. And this is something that would really, in my estimation, it takes quite a little bit of knowledge, whether it come from some sort of a city planner, another consulting engineer, whatever it may be. It would need quite a little bit of professional help in order to help us implement the proper regulation.
You know what that means, don't you?
Mike's Lawn Service, whenever they come to town.
You have to watch them.
I mean,
What does it mean?
That means our city attorney's gonna be busy.
Oh, you start a consulting firm.
yeah.
They're the ones gonna make all the...
We need to know how to consult on things. So
Yeah.
that's the deal.
It's like the money for consulting, but there's nothing for the projects.
Well, you know all about the soil and rocks. You could be our president.
I don't think so. I want to go forward.
That's enough punishment?
There's your duties.
Couple things as we look at new developments. So whether you're thinking about this, you can think about this in terms of boulders in the restaurant and what would we do out there to assist with lake water quality by how you regulate the development out there. So the first one deals with drainage and water impoundment. So we're doing something like that out there, to where they had to put up this retention berm that catches all of the water as it's coming there, and has a certain amount of detention time in there that it allows for some of the solids to fall out. You know, if you can lose some of the silt, fill in the retention berm occasionally, clean that out. That's the idea. Get a lot of the dirt to fall out before it ever gets to the lake. So that's the first one. From a grant perspective, this would just say let's request grant funding of 50% and have 50% private cost share. Same type of 50% match on this concept of pervious pavement. This is one of those things from a drainage perspective, is real good as a drainage thing. That there's a certain type of concrete, and there's a certain type of asphalt, and there's certainly certain types of pavers that you lay down, and water drains right through them. Okay, water does not run off like traditional concrete; it just drains right through it. Has a rocky porous subbase to it somehow, and the water continues to flow through. It's one of those things where they're still working on implementing it, especially with the concrete and asphalt. The pavers are working real well, they say, but the concrete and asphalt, you can kind of envision the concrete. It's just got big voids, big spaces in it, of air spaces, and it allows the water to drain through. Well, those big air spaces fill up with gunk over time, and then it's not nearly as pervious anymore. So, something that still is being improved upon.
I think they fill up with ice in the winter and break out.
And that's the other thing, yeah, is it breaks with ice. So those items that we went through are potential items that could be done right away. So we're looking at the years 1 through 5, which would then be actually within this grant application. You would apply for those. There's some things here in years 5 through 10 that are identified as additional work. They want to know what else we might have planned for subsequent years, but it would not go into this large grant application right away. So this would be some additional impoundment structures. As you look at that middle map over there, there's some things that look like small ponds in the newly developed areas. And that's what these impoundment structures would be, essentially be a couple ponds out there. How they're done, where they would be, where the development areas are, it's very much up in the air. That's why this is just something that would happen in the future.
Isn't that where the mosquitoes nest in the ponds?
Still be in the rain barrels.
Yeah.
They'll have so many children there under the lakes and water.
Just a thought.
My last point, is more rain gardens if we would want to continue to encourage residential rain gardens over the course of years. Really, we just need to be showing some additional long-term thinking about what it is that we would propose to do. So if you look at page 19, that puts all the costs together as far as what the requested grant funds are, and then where it talks about the local match. Now, oftentimes, local match is private match through a 50% cost share or anything like that. That's why I identified those things at the bottom. So the very bottom of the page is the hard cost to the city.
So it'd be about $22,000 a year that we get about the.
Well, 42.
So 134.
This is just the bottom one. They add up to be 45,000 on the bottom.
Oh,
The 3 on the bottom.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that's over a 5-year time period. With the big one being whatever might happen on the storm sewer outlets. And that's just a matter of, again, about working it into the priorities of the council. When would you like to see this come on board? There's massive amounts of study that would need to be done before we ever feel comfortable doing anything like that.
Yeah, I'd like to see a lot of proof that works.
The example that's held up as the proof all the time is Clear Lake. They talk about that being real successful.
I'd like to see I'm not talking about the proof, I want to see it.
Clear Lake has problems, though, with E. coli, doesn't
They
it?
sure did.
Yeah, it's a good master. Yeah, they must have fixed everything, huh?
I said it's a lot better than what I guess I didn't realize they still had.
I mean, I don't doubt that it probably does work, but I'd just really like to see how much it works, and for $30,000, it better really work.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I would think that if we could utilize an example of something out by Glacier Bay Restaurant, with some information, so that people can then become more knowledgeable, local, or
Sure.
that might.
That could be, it may take an explanation in the restaurant as far as why they got this pond thing next to you outside the building. That's good. It's a good way to, like I say, educate the public.
Don't they do something with that water then also for fountains or?
Yeah. The one out there isn't proposed to have any standing water in it. It would just drain and catch big amounts of water during large rain.
Mm-hmm.
Slow it down.
Anyway, so I guess that's the idea, and they're going to submit this as part of the big grant. And, you know, we're looking for, you know, council buy-in to this, absolutely, but we're also looking for any additional types of projects that you could see going in this application also. And the other thing is any real specific application that we ought to be doing. You know, if you know someplace, a piece of property that needs protection right now, we ought to be doing something with it. You know, I couldn't tell you what that is. I don't see it right now.
I'm sure we'll find some.
So what we're buying into is the concept of the plan. We haven't spent a dime yet, right?
Haven't spent anything, but this would be what we would propose to go in that grant.
When you submit the grant, you have to also submit what the city is willing to do.
And not even just willing to do, you know what we've identified as potential projects. Yeah.
This goes to the state, correct?
This is federal, I think.
Well, they didn't print them, but
I'm fine with what we call potential projects, because that $30,000 got a lot of potential.
We're not married into anything.
And that, again, that depends on how good it works. If it works, we can't do anything that spends too much money to fix the lake, I know that.
we've already had engineers do the sewer plant, that didn't work.
Yeah, that worked out real well.
Yeah, that.
I don't want to buy
Sorry to
another
bring
one.
that up.
Sounds like a good idea, I'd love to go ahead.
That's what I'm thinking. I wouldn't mind going up and having somebody show me how it works.
Yeah.
Will that take like 2 or 3 days, or?
Stay in a nice motel.
How far is the casino?
I guess you use it on a motorcycle.
I don't know. I need all the wheels litter to be active.
Maybe you need that bad.
Okay, we're down to the city clerk report.
On this, one other thing on this lake plan, and I mean, is everybody on board with that? Do we have a motion to endorse the concept?
I was so moved.
A second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Thank you.
Yes.
Us?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Strayer?
Yes.
Concepts, is that like a wish?
Oh, what?
That's kind of like a wish, we wish you were.
Yeah.
We have it on that, but.
Okay.
Concept that works on paper.
Sign grant?
Sign grant. Just so we were awarded the full amount of requested for that full-color digital sign. What I want to do is get a committee together of folks from the city and from the community club and from Men's Club, who are all the funding partners. And we'll get this committee together and have them go through and make a recommendation about specifically what sign we should buy. So basically, I'm looking for a volunteer who really wants to be involved in the sign project.
Especially somebody that probably wants to bid on the old one.
I'm telling you folks, I voted against the sign. I don't think it should be on the committee.
We forgot about that.
I'll do it if that's what you want me to do. It doesn't bother me to be on a committee. But I'm the guy who picked out the last sign and nobody's happy with, so I'm not sure I'm the right guy.
I think you'll do a good job.
Okay, put me up.
Very good. On that Sac County Endowment Foundation too. They did not award all of their money. They got about $36,000 that's going to be open to a second round of funding now. So we need to be identifying our
Storm, sewer, what was it called?
Matching.
I tell you what, that's not a terrible project. That would score just really, really good. Of course, we don't have any
Maybe get
knowledge to do
Maybe
one
get
yet.
one.
What's that, didn't the city have another request at the same time that sign was put forth in an...
Well, other than the photo frame one,
Oh, did you do that?
no, we didn't.
Oh.
We
I'd
had
like to
we talked.
do the photo frame thing again, but I also think we should try the paddle boats. See, we can't get the county to help us pay for our paddle boats.
Paddleboats is great.
How
Because
come
they won't do it
how come they
delay.
have money left over? I mean, that's like unreal.
Some people don't.
Did
like
they have
doing
enough
it.
requests or what?
Some grant applications were not funded.
Really?
And, yeah,
Oh, they weren't deemed appropriate or suitable?
yeah, I don't know if some projects really weren't good, you know, and they are kind of sticklers about following the rules of application too. So if you didn't follow some of the rules along the way, you got excluded.
We are sticklers for the correctness.
What'd you say, 30?
By the
How much
rule.
left?
Yes, by those rules.
By the rule.
$36,000.
Left.
Well, we were planning on the paddle boats anyway, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if we can get somebody to help us pay for them.
How many did we decide that we were gonna try to do?
Two, wasn't it?
What does paddle boat cost?
About $700 a piece.
They're non-polluting. That should get us some good stuff.
But I don't think we want to try and get any more either. I think we need to start with 2, see how it goes. And maybe next year we buy 2 more, but I would hate to see us with 4 of them down there blowing away because nobody's riding them. If we only have 2, we can always put them up for auction and sell them, don't worry. How about I don't know, how much do we want to try and get? As much as we get, right?
Absolutely.
Can we get some on that sidewalk deal we're
That's what
trying to do by Kathy?
That's what I would like to
I
see.
mean, do we have to write 3 different grants for all this, or just
We
one?
would write a couple different grants, one for the paddle boats and one for this additional streetscape work.
Well, if we have to kick one to the curb, kick the paddle boats to the curb, because that sidewalk, we need to do something.
We need that.
So we like the streetscape work.
That would be and there again, is it our best bet to just go after one, and try and send 2?
I don't think so.
I think it's
plug them all in there and see what happens.
Yeah.
They're gonna prove the one they think is best.
If you wanted to apply for a grant for a paddle boat, it would be very well received.
Yeah, I think so too.
They can always say no, right? Yeah.
So when do they bring the big checks around?
I'm not just really sure, because they've already told everybody that they're being
Really?
awarded, and they've already actually sent out, no, they haven't sent out contracts yet, they've sent out the award letter, so
And what-
usually when we get this contract,
Was this $4,000 for that sign, or what was it?
13.5. The grant was 13.5.
If we apply for these, when we apply for these grants and when we get them, when do we expect this to be done?
After due on April 29th and the score on May 10th. See, that's a potential problem, because it will be well into June before
Before the money
we
comes,
would be able to spend it.
right? Or can we not do that
You can buy it the day that you sign the contract,
with,
with Shirley that has awarded you the money. But
okay?
that's,
So what happens if we decided we're gonna buy 2 paddle boats this year and we get the grant and we buy 2 for next year?
so long as you're continuing to buy.
Okay.
You have to buy what you say you're going to buy.
Okay. I just don't want to come Memorial Day and we don't have.
Sure.
Because then I think we might as well wait till next year.
Yep. Okay, good. I'll have those ready to go. City Hall roof, I don't have a solid price on that yet, but the issue had come up about the tree to the south. And, if we're going to do this roof work here on City Hall, do you want the tree there anymore? If that's the basis of the problem, is the leaves clogging the gutter, is it in the city's best interest to tear the tree down? We have already trimmed any of the big limbs that had overhung the City Hall. That's already been done, so.
The mayor's the tree expert.
Yeah, the mayor makes all the tree decisions.
I knew that was coming.
No?
Good old Johnny Appleseed made that decision there.
Yeah.
Well, when the roofers come, I will take their advice and do what we have to do.
If we can leave the tree, I'd like to leave the tree,
Yeah.
Right.
if we can.
We don't want to put 20,000 into a roof and then have a damage.
Right,
tree
right.
damage, so. Because I've been up here
I
when the
just
water
like-
comes in the
the trees
ceiling,
take a long time, and I'd hate to cut one down and then,
just for the giggles.
Yeah.
No, I'd never do that.
Which brings me to my next tree point, though, and it's the big trees down there by the stone pier. Did anybody get a chance to look at them?
yeah, I drove down there.
It's a mess.
So I did.
The tree's gonna die, right?
Yeah, hard to say, the thing's been there for,
Yeah, but now,
50,
this is the
60
bark all
years.
the way from the top to the bottom.
That's the cottonwood, we don't want anything falling on anybody. That's the danger I think we're gonna have. Because there's a nest of cottonwoods right there we're gonna have to get rid
If you
of.
take down that tree, you gotta take down the other ones, because then you got a bunch of crooked trees is what you have.
Right.
Because that's the only straight one in the whole cotton picking thing. So, I would say, if that tree's gonna die, then we might as well take them all out.
I mean, you can do it when it's cold.
Who
so
can
you
tell
talk
us
about
if the tree's gonna die? Should be somebody who can walk out there
Well,
and
and
say, dude, that tree ain't got a chance.
you can bring in, we could contact Forester and they could stop by. It's like the mayor was saying, if we want to remove the thing, we ought to do it really shortly, while it's still frozen out there.
We're gonna tear that park all to dickens if we don't. I can't see with that. I don't, even if the tree's gonna live, it's still gonna rot on the inside and fall on somebody else. That's what I'm worried about.
That's where we're gonna have our summer concerts, right, that area.
Yeah. I mean, we already got trouble with the trees falling, what, a year after the storm, we still got rooms falling.
I just hate to see it get hit by lightning again. I mean, it might struggle through this one, but, I
Say-
mean, cottonwoods are pretty resilient. I mean, they'll grow in a sand pile, but
But they won't stand
it
there.
Once
don't
they
take a
start
whole lot
dying-
to kill them
Once they
either.
start dying, branches fall all over.
Yeah, I-
Jack and Lon were really convinced he got hit by lightning last year. And this was the second one then this year.
I think they need to start taking them out in the morning when it's cold. That's what I think.
We don't think it's gonna survive, take them off.
I don't think we can take a chance. That's what I think.
And plant something instead of cottonwood there.
Yeah.
Something.
We would plant something different than a
I
cotton.
think there's an ordinance now, you can't plant cottonwood, isn't there?
Yep, there is.
Yeah.
There's a weeping willow that doesn't shed.
Isn't that where we all sit for the summer concerts here? Isn't that what the plan is?
Mhm.
Because basically that's where everybody sits during the, maybe we do something else there. I don't know, maybe it ain't a tree.
Maybe we put the chief there.
John.
Maybe we just put some dirt in there, make it part of the slope so you can see better.
Mhm.
That'll open up that way if you look up.
Because then when you're sitting there, you don't have a tree to look around. Because I know, like, during Water Carnival, people will be here and then on the other side of the tree, and where that tree's at, there's nobody sitting because you can't see it. Maybe we don't put anything. I said, if we cut it down, we look before we decide to put something in it.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Make sure that we can, that
We'll take that whole mess of trees down, clean it up, and then we'll just see what it does.
Okay, well, we'll talk to Jack about having him start the process, but those trees are big honking trees. And he thought that he could chew away at them for a while and make some progress, but we'll see mainly the top part of them. You know, if he can get high enough to start to whittle them down a little bit. If not, we'll be reconsidering this again because it'll be getting a contractor in here to pay him some money. But I'll talk to Jack more about that, and if he can, he's gonna start to tear them out of there.
There's bark all over head down there.
That's a mess.
How about cleanup day? Do we want to do cleanup day this year?
We didn't do it last year, we had a lot
I
of
would
ice.
say yes.
We got to, I
We
think.
got people waiting.
A lot of people just held it over for 2 years.
Yeah.
I talked with Robbie Rudd about getting kind of the same time that we always would do, would be about the first week of May. The day that he doesn't do a town route is Thursdays. So we tell folks Thursday, Friday, I think. We gotta have all their stuff out by Thursday. We would propose the first Thursday, it's May 5th.
We buy a $20 tag, you get rid of the white.
Yep,
stuff.
well, I'd propose that we're gonna work that the same that we did in the past, is that folks can buy an appliance sticker up here, and we pick up any of the appliances that have the sticker on it, and then we're responsible for disposal. We had worked with a firm out of the Des Moines area, I think, they would come up and pick things up. Quants, now they will take most anything, and cost about $5 to get rid of it down there, so we'll probably end up hauling things ourselves.
That'll make up for the people that dump it down in the city shed and you don't catch them.
Actually, that's one of the main reasons, is that they'll only load it once, they'll load it on the dump truck and head straight south, and they won't end up with a pile down there that can keep going, so.
How much are the stickers?
$20?
It's charging you fast.
Yeah, well, I'll have to come up with the specifics on this, and we'll have the council figure, but probably $20 for a sticker. Other than that, we have not charged anybody for the service. You know, we want to continue to do that way. Yes.
So if we don't do it, they'll just take it out in the ditches and throw it away.
Just a couple things on the water tower. We had been working on getting a contractor to clean. This is just maintenance.
We start painting our water tower, I'm never gonna live it down.
How about people just clean it for now?
Jerry, you weren't there, I'll tell you the story.
We'll see you later.
Got a couple quotes to have a diver come in and do the interior of the tower and the wet well at the water plant. 2 bids, and they were both $2,950. And the difference would be how they handle any materials about the epoxy and stuff, that in case they got to fix it inside. So we got to hammer that out, and we'll go with best deal on that. And then we would have a fella come in and pressure spray the exterior of the water tower. If you look at the underside, it gets that mildew growth on the underside. And that's $4,889 to have them come do that. We've set this money aside, so we have money that's available for water tower maintenance.
How often do we have to do that? What is it, recommendation or something like that?
Yeah, it's like 5 years on the cleaning, and we're a little overdue on that.
Okay.
We were at 8 years now. Farmers Market, Jenny Voss called today, and Jenny would be now the coordinator of the Farmers Market.
Perfect.
And basically she would just like permission that they could do this again, utilize the hotel lot again. Really operates very similar to what it had last year. They talked about the first weekend in June being their opening date. They may even try to bump that up a little bit if they can get anything ready for Memorial Day weekend. But basically they were just looking for permission to do that. And
My only concern is the sidewalk. Last year, whenever it rained, and sometimes when it didn't rain, they put everything on the sidewalk instead of in the lot.
Yeah.
And then you can't get by there. For car parks there, you just can't walk by. And is it really a big problem to walk out and go around? No, but the sidewalks are for walking on, they're not for selling stuff on.
yeah, keep stuff off the sidewalk.
You're gonna kind of landscape that?
Well, I would like us to do something.
Yeah, like picnic tables or something. And walk.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to make it so it ain't a mud hole, so when the farmers
Well,
fair could be in
so I
there.
was wondering if they ever got any good grass to grow there or not.
No, it doesn't look like it to me.
It's all sand.
Yeah.
You don't straighten down for the black dirt.
Okay. Come up with some idea on that landscaping of the lot.
You gonna talk to her about having a hot dog in there?
So you can have a hot dog man there selling hot dogs now.
As long as he ain't on the sidewalk.
He will be on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Right? Sidewalk.
Just giving you crap.
You can't push that out there.
Yeah, the street.
We submitted that RISE grant for the Boulders development, and that most likely gets considered in April yet. So that's still another month and a half off before we hear anything on that. One of my last points is that other sheet of paper that was at the desk tonight. Last Thursday at Northwest Iowa League, Butch Brinks was there, and we were talking about this situation with FEMA and where we sit with the historical and archaeological clearance. And anyway, he asked that I would just write a note to him, and so I shipped this off to him, emailed it off to him today, along with that list of emails that we'd read before, Whitey, about this. It was interesting about the status of this historical and archaeological clearance, and the fact that what really happened is the FEMA guys come out here to start their site inspection, and they go out and start working on their first mile of line to inspect, and the first mile of line that they inspected was the mile out there that got rebuilt after that November ice storm. They go out there and they look at that 1 mile and they say, geez, you rebuilt your system. So now this is no longer an emergency inspection. This then becomes an after-the-fact inspection because the thing had been done. You are now low priority. And we've been treated as low priority on that deal. And they have not been out to finish the site inspection. So that the note just kind of lays that out for him, and at least we've got some answers and know where we stand now. And the good point is that FEMA hopes to be done with all of their field work for the historical and archaeological stuff by the end of the month. So everybody should be done by that time.
So they'll come back and take a look at this.
Yep. Yep.
As long as they're not part of the state crew that gets terminated.
They're federal.
Oh,
One guy was federal.
Oh, maybe. We'll get back
So
in
we're
there.
still gonna keep
Keep on that.
people on a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
keep sending them next.
Yep, so, yeah, if you talk to Steve Kettering, you know, Steve had his staff do quite a little bit of investigation for us, and that's where we come up with all of these answers. So, you know, we can thank the good Senator Kettering for that.
That's all you have?
Basically about it. With any luck, I am going to be on vacation for the rest of the week. I say that because Kay was out sick today and didn't sound like she was doing very well, so I may be back in tomorrow.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
We're gonna make you sweat.
Not another me in here.
I'll second.
Meeting adjourned.